The following story summarizes sworn testimony, court filings, and accredited live reporting from the ongoing federal racketeering case, United States versus Sean Diddy Combs, as of 29th of May 2025. All allegations remain unproven. Every individual named is presumed innocent until a verdict is reached. Sensitive language has been softened to comply with YouTube policies, e.g., unalive, OD'd, F-bomb. Viewer discretion is advised. Discussions include violence, drug use, coercion, and adult content. The minute the bailiff barked, "All rise," nobody expected a single purple tablet to hijack the morning. Yet there it was, encased in crystal, faintly stamped with Barack Obama's silhouette, and held aloft by a federal prosecutor who spoke as if unveiling the Hope Diamond. A retired gopher named David James swore that Sean Diddy Combs treated these presidential party favors like breath mints, sliding one onto his tongue whenever night blurred into dawn. Gasps ricocheted off mahogany walls. Cameras outside the courthouse popped like fireworks. And a jury of 12 ordinary New Yorkers suddenly leaned forward with the kind of collective curiosity every litigator prays to ignite. Why does a novelty pill matter? Because prosecutors claim Diddy weaponized excess, designer drugs, bottomless crystal, velvet rope parties, to lure newcomers into an ecosystem where no could evaporate faster than the bubbles in a $200 bottle. If jurors connect those dots, that single tablet becomes a microscopic symbol of systemic control. If they don't, it's just flair, salacious, irrelevant, and dangerously prejudicial. Tonight, we're unpacking 8 buried secrets revealed on day 12, stretching from blood-spattered wallpaper to a Porsche allegedly torched in Kid Cudi's driveway. Strap in. Each segment peels back another layer of a story that feels less like celebrity gossip and more like a psychological thriller playing out in real time. Federal racketeering law, affectionately dubbed RICO, wasn't designed for pop icons. It was forged to cage mob bosses, Al Capone, John Gotti, shadowy dons whose fingerprints rarely touched crime scenes because underlings did the dirty work. Prosecutors now argue that Bad Boy Entertainment doubled as Diddy's personal command center, a slickly branded enterprise that greased extortion, hush payments, even alleged trafficking. The key ingredients are pattern and predicate. 2 crimes inside 10 years, tied to a common criminal purpose, let the government yank decades of rumors into evidence like old emails dragged from the recycle bin. Enter day 12. Up E. To now, jurors heard scattered stories. A mysterious yacht party here, a hotel surveillance clip there. But today's witnesses stitched these puzzle pieces into a quilt. Lawyers repeated 3 verbs: control, humiliate, isolate, until they rang like church bells. They argued that fancy cars and diamond chains weren't trophies, they were bait. You might wonder, haven't other megastars thrown wild parties without landing in court? Absolutely. Prosecutors must prove force, fraud, or coercion, not just hedonism. Their challenge is to transform titillating tales into felony bricks. Day 12 supplied fresh mortar, a stylist's threat narrative, a midnight intimidation run, a blood-flecked scrap of Versace wallpaper, and that Obama pill cube. By late afternoon, spectators realized something chilling. The longer the testimony stretched, the more the word enterprise felt less like legal jargon and more like a living, breathing machine. And machines once humming rarely stop on their own. Deonte Nash tasted fame before he ever styled a single lock of Cassie Ventura's hair. Instagram anointed him a fashion poet. Vogue called him the man who rhinestones confidence. And TMZ tracked his love life with the enthusiasm of meteorologists during hurricane season. None of that glitz crossed the courtroom threshold. Today, Nash looked more accountant than influencer. No sequins, just a conservative dove-gray suit accessorized by trembling fingertips clutched around. A lukewarm coffee. His headline quote leaked days earlier. Cassie looked genuinely terrified the night Diddy threatened to leak her tapes. But the transcript of his full testimony reads like a novella of psychological warfare. Nash said the threat wasn't a one-off tantrum, it was a motif. According to him, Diddy dangled intimacy tapes the way cartoon villains dangle victims over shark tanks, except these sharks wore corporate badges. Imagine being 20-something, globally adored, and learning your parents might receive a USB stick featuring your most private moments. That's not tabloid fodder. That's nuclear leverage. Defense. Counsel Steven Sato zeroed in like a hawk. He flashed a 2021 Instagram screenshot on a monitor, Nash grinning in neon sunglasses beside the caption, "About to cash in." Sato's voice dripped disdain. "Sir, wouldn't you agree threatening tapes make good TV?" Nash inhaled, exhaled, and replied, "Threats make terrible TV, counselor, but honest TV." Some jurors nodded. Others looked unconvinced. Then Nash detonated a new grenade. A 2011 yacht party celebrating Cassie's 25th birthday turned nightmarish when she allegedly declined to perform intimate acts for investors. In Nash's telling, Diddy shattered a champagne magnum, catching Cassie's forearm with a razor-sharp shard. Blood streaked the teak deck. An off-duty medic taped the wound. No ambulance dared approach. Nash says he kept quiet because people dial 911, then pack cardboard boxes the same afternoon. Cross-examination hammered contradictions. Why no medical photos? Why still work there? But the damage lingered. Every jury scribble pad filled faster than the last. And as Nash stepped down, whispers rippled. If threats were real, who else stayed silent? Enter the woman with a midnight SUV story and a burner phone labeled Cassie Mission. Capricorn Clark's resume once sparkled. Personal assistant, tour coordinator, emergency miracle worker who could turn a missing Versace belt crisis into a front-row miracle in under 15 minutes. Yet today, the spotlight she long chased now brands her whistleblower. She took the stand wearing the same navy suit from her first appearance, a sartorial message that she's repeating truth, not wardrobe. Her most gripping tale unfolds. On 12th of June 2011, Cassie and Kid Cudi exchanged flirty texts, innocent emojis in any other universe. Clark claims Diddy saw those bubbles pop on Cassie's screen and erupted, "We'll drop that man in a river, nobody will find him." Minutes later, Clark, 2 bodyguards, and Diddy barreled down the New Jersey Turnpike in a matte black SUV. Her job? Keep the engine purring in case things got permanent. She testified that Diddy stomped toward Cudi's house, fists clenched, while she waited, heart ricocheting against her ribcage. No police call, no road rage de-escalator, just humid summer air and an order to stay ready. Prosecutors unveiled Exhibit 23, a scuffed burner phone with silver Sharpie scrawl, Cassie Mission. Clark said she stashed it in 2015 before quitting, terrified that speaking up without proof would brand her a liar. The courtroom lights seemed to dim as jurors inspected the plastic evidence bag. One adjusted glasses. Another craned for a better angle. Defense tried a different blade. "Ms. Clark, did you not ask to rejoin Mr. Combs's payroll for $120,000 a year in 2018? She didn't flinch. "I did. When you can't pay rent, pride is a luxury." The line sliced through accusations of opportunism and laid bare the dilemma of many whistleblowers. Truth rarely pays the bills. Yet the prosecutors weren't done. They flashed a teaser photo, blurred for the public, of Kid Cudi's Porsche, engulfed in flames days after the alleged intimidation. Arson investigators testify next week. Prosecutors hint cell tower pings will appear. Clark stepped down, but the smell of gasoline seemed to linger in everyone's imagination. Courtrooms dull bright lights to protect anonymity, but not even dimmed fluorescents could hide Mia's trembling hands. The former office runner entered under U.S. Marshal escort, hoodie drawn low. The judge prohibited sketches. Words alone must paint this portrait. Mia's voice echoed small at first, but each syllable gathered courage. She recounted a winter night in 2012 inside Diddy's Manhattan penthouse. According to Mia, an argument about a leaked demo escalated into Diddy, backhanding Cassie so hard she ricocheted off a mirror, her elbow splitting on the frame. Mia claimed droplets sprayed onto opulent Versace wallpaper, ivory swirls on midnight blue silk. While Cassie sobbed in a powder room, housekeeper Lupe G allegedly scrubbed bleach until dawn. Why believe her? Mia reached into a Ziploc bag and produced a wallet-sized scrap of that very wallpaper, midnight blue, ragged edges, and a speckled reddish-brown smear now dulled by years. You could hear the collective shudder. Jurors leaned forward so synchronously one might suspect choreography. Defense seized an opening. Mia is under IRS audit for $84,000 in back taxes. Did prosecutors promise witness fees, a relocation stipend, maybe even a private security detail? She admitted she'll receive standard federal protection, but swore no amount of money could match the cost of silence. "I kept that scrap because phones die and people lie," she murmured. The gallery recalibrated. The puzzle suddenly had texture, fiber, pigment. The judge called a recess to debate chain of custody. If admitted, the jury won't just hear about violence, they'll see its residue. For RICO builders, physical evidence is gold bullion. For defense, it's a ticking time bomb. Designer MDMA is old news in club culture. Hearts, smiley faces, even Hello Kitty stamps. A presidential profile? That's marketing genius or hubris, depending on your chemical persuasion. David James, a former assistant tasked with packing, tour backpacks testified that Diddy favored personally branded party favors. Some glowed under black light, others bore cartoon characters. The rarest batch, he said, featured Barack Obama's face, hope inside a capsule. No sooner had word escaped the stenographer's keys than tabloids mutated detail into fever dream. Obama supplying drugs to rap mogul. Conspiracy threads knitted faster than grandmas at Christmas. Fact check. The 44th president's only alleged connection is his likeness molded into a novelty shape. That didn't stop millions from binge-sharing doctored photos of Obama raving at Coachella, pupils dilated like moons. In court, prosecutors argued the pill illustrates a culture of excess that blurred consent lines. Defense countered that pill. Shape is irrelevant, like blaming dominoes for a gambler's addiction. Yet seeing that tiny cube glint under courtroom fluorescence triggered visceral reactions. Juror number 8's jaw dropped. Juror number 5 scribbled "Obama pill" and underlined it twice. The broader question is narrative control. The prosecution's storyline says custom drugs were velvet handcuffs. The defense says they're irrelevant eye candy. Outside, the myth machine roars louder. Meme pages, click farms, influencers flocking to the courthouse steps for viral selfies. The jury's sequestration can filter cell phones, not echo chambers lodged in memory. It started as whispers in private dining rooms. Then TMZ's Harvey Levin blurted it on morning TV. A-listers are sprinting to lawyers to dodge Diddy subpoenas. Record producers canceled studio blocks. Publicists rewrote press releases. And one Oscar-nominated actor allegedly fled to Saint-Tropez on a chartered yacht for spiritual clarity. Reality check. Federal subpoenas carry the weight of the U.S. Marshals Service. Marshals don't RSVP, they appear. Refusal invites contempt fines that climb like interest on a loan shark's ledger, up to 6 figures daily. And the optics? Unfiltered disaster. Remember when rapper Lil Wayne refused deposition questions and wound up hand-delivered to a courtroom? Multiply that by Hollywood's entire top shelf. Crisis management firms argue transparency is king. Testify. Express. Empathy pivot to philanthropy. Defense attorneys hiss back. One slip of tongue equals perjury prison. The result is a star-studded paralysis. Industry brunches dissolve when the word subpoena surfaces. Group chats rename themselves Book Club and sprout encryption. Locks. Everyone clutches plausible denial as though it were a designer clutch. But subpoenas don't care about aura. They are ink and statute. And each day, fresh rumors list new names in the prosecutor's crosshairs. Some plausible, some fantastical. What matters to jurors isn't who trends on Twitter. It's how many insiders refuse to testify and why. Like oxygen fueling flame, silence can burn a defense as much as testimony can. Veteran pool reporter Samantha Sherry brings binoculars for facial cues, not distant views. Today, she clocked 49,000 keystrokes and a pattern. Whenever monetary documents surfaced, hotel bills, yacht invoices, consulting fees, juror number 5, the forensic auditor, leaned in. Numbers, after all, are his native tongue. He underlined figures, circled dates, double-starred the $40,000 Win Suite tagged entertainment budget. Juror number 8, retired kindergarten teacher, winced through every story describing physical harm. When Mia unveiled the wallpaper scrap, she clutched her pendant so hard the chain imprinted skin. Empathy can sway verdicts more than legal nuance. She whispered to juror number 10, who nodded gravely. Juror number 11, a software engineer, remains the wild card. During Mia's cross-examination about tax audits, he gazed at fluorescent bulbs as if debugging code in his mind. skepticism, or simple boredom. Trial veterans know one technical thinker can reverse engineer an entire narrative during deliberations. Legal analysts remind us a trial isn't a lecture, it's a psychological chess match. Prosecutors tightened their story arc today. Defense will counter next week. But micro-expressions, choked gasps, rolling eyes, scribbled expletives, suggest the emotional ledger currently tips prosecution's way. Of course, chessboards flip in a single move. And that move might be sealed in a motion the public can't yet read. Court docket item 117 bears a vague label. Emergency motion to admit prior conduct, sealed. Insiders whisper it centers on a 2016 luxury liner bash near St. Bart's. An influencer barely out of high school allegedly woke on deck, dizzy, with no memory of boarding. Phone data, now subpoenaed, shows a 2-hour blackout. If true, that story could extend the alleged enterprise timeline past Cassie's exit, reinforcing RICO's continuing pattern. Defense screamed relevance. Foreign water, new witness, prejudicial bombshell. Prosecutors answered that geography doesn't dissolve coercion. It only widens the map. The judge promised a ruling Monday at 10 a.m. Reporters are camping the hallway like die-hard fans awaiting concert tickets. Meanwhile, paparazzi lenses captured Kanye West's Gulfstream idling at Teterboro. Why is Ye here? Some speculate the defense may call him to humanize Diddy, paint the mogul as misunderstood visionary, not manipulative predator. Others think Kanye just craves headline oxygen. Either way, his presence injects volatility. One unscripted comment could tilt public sentiment or muddy jury pools for future trials. Timeline matters. Prosecutors hint they could rest 4 weeks from now, not 5. If judge admits the yacht tale, expect new witnesses plus forensic experts. If she rejects it, the defense scores breathing room. Mid-June could witness character testimony, maybe previously silent family members, perhaps even Diddy himself. But self-testimony is courtroom Russian roulette. Few celebrities spin that chamber. We untangled 8 knots tonight. The stylist's threat diary, a midnight SUV mission, a wallpaper relic, a purple presidential pill, Hollywood's lawyer stampede, juror microtells, a sealed Caribbean file, and the surprise arrival of Kanye West. Each strand could bind Diddy tighter to a RICO conviction, or fray under cross-examination. Will he gamble on a jury already gasping at designer drugs and broken champagne bottles? Or will he broker a plea to freeze legacy losses? Your turn. Type fight if you think Diddy drags this storyline to the final gavel, or fold if a behind-the-scenes deal feels inevitable. Smash that like button if tonight's dive kept you on the edge, share with friends so they're not lost at Monday's ruling, and tap subscribe. The bell is your VIP pass when the judge unseals that yacht motion. I'll be live before sunrise. Bring coffee, curiosity, and maybe a life vest because this celebrity saga just veered into uncharted water. Stay curious and stay tuned.